5:31 actually. We're going to go ahead and we have a quorum. We'll call this meeting to order officially. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Our first item will be the Pledge of Allegiance. And Jack, will you do the honors and lead the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jack. Okay. First item is to adopt the agenda, and you have the agendas in front of you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Chair, if I may make a motion to adopt as presented with one change in the updates. If my item of Main Street streetscapes can be moved to the top. I do have a 6-year-old birthday party to attend today.
I think that's just fine. That's okay with everybody. With that adjustment, moving, we'll still have a form after that, right? To the top, well, we'll just have to vote on those things before he leaves. If that's okay, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda now?
So moved.
Second.
That was Jack and Marty. Any discussion?
And for clarification, that was after, if that just moves to the top of the updates, not
Sure.
before the items.
Sure, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Show of hands. All for, so moved. Next item is to approve the minutes. You all have had time, I assume, to read over the minutes. And can I get a motion to approve the minutes from January 30th?
So moved.
Marty, Jack, any discussion?
Chair, I will not vote as I was absent at that meeting.
Sure. Any other discussion? All in favor, show of hands. So moved, with Kirk abstaining. Now on to new business. Our first item is the approval to remove Jack Dunn from the signature card and add Jay Cornelius to the signature card at United Community Bank. The roles have been moved and Jay is now the secretary, which means we need to change those signatures on that. So first, can I get a motion for the approval to remove Jack and add Jay?
Motion to approve as presented.
Kirk? Second?
Second.
Jack? Any discussion? All right, all in favor, show of hands. So moved, unanimous. Easy. All right, item number 2, the consideration and approval of the Downtown Live logo. This is to replace our previous branding of the second Saturday concert series. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a motion in a second, and then we'll ask for discussion after that. So let's go ahead with a motion for consideration and approval of the new Downtown Live logo.
So moved.
Jack, and a second, please.
Second.
Marty. Now, any discussion? I would like to do it.
Yeah, so in each of your books, there's a summary of the logos that placed first, second, and third choice. What we did is we asked the community, there were a few folks in the community who contributed some logo ideas. We had a professional designer contribute some logo ideas. We put all of those on an anonymized Google form that was then sent to all of the DDA members and a few other officials. Everyone voted and we have the results. It was a ranked choice vote, which meant people chose their first, second, and third choice. and the results were then tallied together to come to our winner. This is the old Second Saturday branding. This is what people are probably used to seeing now. And this is the first choice for the new what's now called Downtown Live, the new Downtown Live branding. There is a document that has the voting here. So the first choice received 60% of the first choice votes, 40% of the second choice votes, and 20% of the third choice. The second choice received 40% of first, 20% of second, 20% of third. The third choice received 0% first, 20% second, and 20% third, and then the rest were below that. I think there were 17 logo concepts that were put together in total. One of the interesting things is that the first place and the second place are actually two variations of the same logo concept. It's just this one is side by side and this one is stacked up using different colors. So they are actually interchangeable, so it worked out really well that these were the top two contenders. These were the first two that everyone chose. So with that in mind, we are voting to adopt this as our second Saturday. I'm sorry, I'm still getting through that. To adopt this as our new logo for Downtown Live.
Thank you for all your work on that. Do we have any other discussion? Marty, since we don't always fall on the second Saturday, we want to mention that.
Right.
We decided, hopefully to rebrand in case it didn't fall on the second Saturday.
And to give us flexibility for other events, and maybe spanning multiple days or in collaboration with other events around the area.
Terrific. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of the new Downtown Live logo, show of hands, please. All in favor? Good job.
Thank you for all that, Jay.
Well, great job, Jack.
Jay has worked very hard on that. Third item falls still under what's now called our Jasper Downtown Live. Was getting a little tedious with a volunteer helping promote this on social media. So we reached out to a few local social media agencies to give quotes. The DDA board has in front of them the 3 proposals. So I would like, we have discussion of hiring a social media agency to promote Downtown Live. You guys have already looked at this before the meeting, I assume. Can I go ahead and
We need a motion for discussion.
I need a motion for whomever the first choice for the new media agency would be. I need a motion.
Lady
For
Chair,
that person.
I'm going to nominate Libby McRae for her outstanding work looking at what she's done here. Looks like she took it over and beyond on what she's done here. Added a lot of things here that we can look at. Looks like she's ready to accept the job and move forward with it and do some things that we need to be done. So I'll make a motion we look at Libby McRae.
All right, I have a motion for Libby with, will you say her name, the Crucial Social Agency?
Right.
I have a motion to hire Libby McRae with the Crucial Social, sorry about that. Can I get a second?
Second for discussion.
All right, Jack and Kirk, now discussion, please.
As long as the board is aware, the funding opportunities here present for this, I believe our leadership has been discussing how that this will go forward in a way that doesn't require us to have an additional funding request of the city of Jasper. And so I'm really pleased with that. I'm really thankful for that. I think that one option stands out clearly. That's something to be proud of. I don't think you're getting shortchanged at all, even though there is a difference in them.
Okay,
To add
The cost discussion.
Go
Not
ahead.
about how much that cost, about how much it's gonna cost us to do that. How are we gonna pay for that? And how do we have other sources to help pay for that?
The intent is to pay for it through sponsorship of the event.
Okay. And how much is it gonna be?
This is $600 per month, I think, in total, it's about $2,400.
And we've exhausted all our other options of looking to help pay for this.
Am I at liberty to answer that question?
I was,
Yeah,
if we asked all the people that are in the tourism business that we can ask to help pay for this?
I don't think it's out of the question. Within our budget, we're able to hire this on a preliminary basis, even though her total is $3,000. Each person that we reached out to would be willing to amend their pricing schedule without a contract
Gotcha.
for a $1,000 down payment.
Okay.
So that's all we will be doing.
We're not committing ourselves as an EDA to pay for that for the whole year. There's
Um,
possibility of other financial obligations or other
We
options.
can always
Yes.
explore other financial means, absolutely. And I'm all for that. Whatever we come up with, tourism or help with.
As long as that's noted that we can
Okay.
pursue the option, because there are options, I think, out there that we can.
We'll make sure that's noted, Jay, to explore other financing options. Any other discussion on this $1,000 being allocated for Libby McRae with the Crucial Social to get started with the rebrand and the social media for Downtown Live? All in favor? All in favor? All moved. Okay, now on to updates. We'll let Kurt go first.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. So in your packet, you do have a brief discussion point on my conversations with Hemlocks, which is the provider of streetscapes on Main Street. The conversation has really been a lengthy discussion based on what's currently in the ground on Main Street and what could be in the ground on Main Street. There are some crepe myrtles that need to be replaced on Main Street. The vendor has been looking at those to make sure that they weren't coming back. It's been confirmed there are some that are completely dead, so those are going to be removed. You'll see in the list there were 3 options that were given to us as recommended by the professional. The third option is highlighted red as do not recommend from myself, simply because it has thorns. You do not want thorns or pricklies with children and people on Main Street. So, in my opinion, there's only 2 choices. You have the wintergreen boxwood and the crimson fire. Both are very economical. Both are easily to be maintained by the vendor. There are crepe myrtles that could be alternated in the downtown area. We know from speaking with some of the business owners and the City of Jasper administration, the crepe myrtles present an issue in some areas with signage being blocked, visibility issues. And so on this particular portion of Main Street, what we're looking at is the northbound side of North Main, which is the Pickens Progress lot and where the distillery is. Now, where that parking lot is, there are no businesses behind it. So if we were to alternate some crepe myrtles, we'd probably place them there for height and then use shrubbery and plantings in front of the businesses themselves. So that's what the vendor, he took some time, really weeks, to get back with me. Otherwise, I would have this much sooner to y'all. And so that's all in the conversation with him on what works best. We did discuss relocating some of the crepe myrtles. His opinion is that they may relocate, but it may also result in killing them. So if we attempt it at their age and where they're at as far as they're established, try to move one, it may work, it may not. The crepe myrtles themselves are $670 a piece. That is to match the exact species that is in downtown right now. You have single trunk, which is what we have, which is much more pleasing to the eye. Then you have multiple trunk species. So if we went the multiple trunk species, that would save money, but it would not look as good. So the $670 is for top of the line, which is what's in there now. The removal of the 7 to 8 dead crepe myrtles, he did quote us at $100 a piece for removal. Discussion with city manager for Jasper. It's feasible that our city crews could come in and remove those dead plants and help offset that cost. And so we'll be discussing that with her. With that being said, I would suggest a do not exceed amount for this project in order to get all of Main Street, identical with the vendor. The amount that we're looking at is $2,000. This $2,000 price tag would come directly from the city of Jasper. This would not reflect out of our budget here at DDA. The reason I say that is the city has a vested interest, and that's been discussed many times with the administration here, that we want Main Street to be its best. And this is that next step of being its best. And so with $2,000 budget, that would allow you to replace at least 2 crepe myrtles, which the vendor said 2 to 3. And so I'm thinking on that far end where the parking lot is, and then using shrubbery and the plants for the others. That may be a little excess on the amount, but I want to make sure that any scenario that comes up, we can account for. There may be one crepe myrtle out there we just don't know about. And so I think the do not exceed amount of $2,000 request of the city for funding would be plenty to cover that project. And then we can anticipate this being done late April, early May, which is when the next planting is coming about from hemlocks. And Jason did inform me through email, and he wanted me to extend this to everyone here. Mother Nature played a cruel trick on us. For the first time in our history, we have a professional vendor planting in downtown, and then Mother Nature kills all of it. So please don't let that reflect upon hemlocks. He actually was quite upset at that. He's been on site multiple times to look at it. We've had a few survivors, Jack. I know you've got some in front of your business, but it's not what it should be.
No.
And so he says this spring planting he's really excited about with the fertilizer they're using and everything that they're going for. It should overflow and be abundant with color. So if appropriate, I'd ask for a motion for the project with a do not exceed amount of $2,000 from funding for the city of Jasper.
So we would request the money from the city transfers money to us, and we pay the vendor, or does the city pay the vendor?
So I think the city would probably just directly pay the vendor based on the project being handled. I don't know any reason why we would need to take on the financials. They paid the monthly invoice for hemlocks already, so this would just go directly to accounts payable.
Okay.
And the finance director has been in touch already.
And we need a vote for that, Kurt?
Yes,
For this
I would
$2,000?
certainly, yes, I would certainly like a motion on it. And basically what it is, it's a request for funding of the city of, do not exceed $2,000 for this project.
Okay. May I get a motion for a do not exceed for the plantings on Main Street to not exceed $2,000? Can I get a motion for that?
Moved.
Jay, and second
Second.
from Jack. Any further discussion on that?
Thank y'all very much for being patient. I know that it took the vendor quite a while to get back with me, and I'm sorry.
Well, we're well on our way.
Yes, we are.
You
Can
didn't
I
have control
please-
over that, so.
Is any other discussion? Yeah, true. Can I please get a wonderful vote for this? All in favor, thank you. I looked on my Facebook memories, it popped up, it was 7 years ago that we
I
started
remember.
working on all of that, literally outside digging, so I'm really excited to see this done as a permanent solution.
With your permission, I'll excuse myself.
Yes,
Thank
thank
y'all very
you,
much.
thanks Kurt.
Have fun with your job.
Thank you.
Already, wow. That's so weird. Okay, the next update would be our new Downtown Live. Marty,
All right.
update us, what's happening?
Updates are, we have we have a schedule, and we have some bands that they have already placed where we're going to have them. The only date that I don't have one specifically is for July, and we might want to discuss that one based on the dates of that event. And but I have one for May, June, August, and September. I have 2 bands, basically the grand and close band for each of those events.
Awesome.
For a budget somewhere around $7,000, which is what we,
Each,
each $7,000 just for the band,
right, for the band.
plus the cost of it. But we're looking at about $7,000 for each event. So we're back. So the cost of the stage and everything we're staying in line with what we paid in the past, so it will increase there, so the events. It's just the July event, I haven't inked the band yet. I wanted to be sure that we would get in conflict with the city date, and then we didn't plan one for September because it conflicts with the dates with the Jeep Fest. So I'd like for discussion of that to see where we are, and then I know we've been sent out the two the registration forms for the vendor. Jay, I appreciate you putting all that together for the vendors and the food trucks and those type of things, and also we have the form that we've used to share, use to promote with our sponsors. And I've had some discussion with a few people that are going to help me with that, and we think we finalized today a couple of things that we can use to help us with that, and we'll start. We've already asked a few folks from last year, that some repeat people, and we got a few more that we've got, so that'll be the next 30 days process. And the next meeting, we should have a report from that.
And are we ready to roll these two vendors and sponsorship requests, I guess, out starting now?
I believe we've had some discussion about it over home, and I think we've had approval on the cost and
Okay.
the services that we can provide with the sponsorship levels. We're looking at T-shirts, and they have logos, and we definitely have to have discussion with our new social media person to come and put that together also too. But everything else is looking good. We just need to do some, there's some details. We got to get some things like the porta potties and the different things like that in line, set up. But I would like to have some discussion about the July event if we could. The July 4th date this year is our own
Tuesday.
again.
I think it's a Tuesday.
Tuesday. And then the next Saturday would be the event. And usually on the 4th of July, there's a parade, and there's a band, and there's a stage, and there's that type of thing.
And what day of the week is that July 4th? Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And we're looking at our event, or the Downtown Live event, pardon me, to be potentially July the 8th.
That's not the second Saturday of the month.
It would be the 15th.
15th, so
Okay.
we could still move forward trying to do a July event if we want to do it for the 15th. We could do it on the 8th, but I think the 15th would be better because it would space it out from the July 4th event.
Well, we originally had the 8th because that's the second Saturday of the month. and we're
Right now,
following
since
that
we've got
tradition.
flexibility, we can move it to the
Right.
15th.
That's right. Have you talked with anyone at the city about their views on when we should have the event, so it doesn't?
No, I don't, we've not, when we did the scheduling request at our last meeting in 2022, that date was not the date that we request, so we would need to amend that request for that date.
Okay.
So, and then we had September as a date, as a requested date, but I don't feel like that we need to do September because of the Jeep Fest. And then, that's my opinion, but I think that's, looking at it from last year, we still could look at it, and we've added October, which we put on the original request date. So we really just have one date that we need to discuss if we want to move forward with it, and then we can add it. But it's not that the 15th would be fine, if we need to check with the city before we amend that calendar.
So it seems there's 3 or maybe 4 options. One option would be to have Downtown Live in conjunction with the city's festivities around July 4th,
Right.
which means we could maybe do it on July 1st or July 8th. Or we decouple it from the city's festivities and we have it on the 15th.
Right.
And the third, but least desirable option, in my opinion, is that we don't have it at all. I would prefer to have it on the 15th or in conjunction with the city's
Right.
festivities for July 4th.
So
We don't want to compete with the city. We want to try to.
Right. To me, it would be, I think,
That's
that
how-
having it on the 4th and then having it on the 15th would be the best if we're going to do 2 separate events. Because
Correct.
the 4th and the 8th would be way too, and that's just too much, together. That,
Okay, so are you going to discuss that with the city?
I'll be glad to discuss that and pass that back to the board, and we
Okay.
can discuss it. And if we can get approval from the city, and we'll bring it back to our next meeting.
That's perfect.
Sounds
We'll
great.
follow up with that. That's good for you, Marty.
Thank you,
We'll
Marty.
be in touch.
Sure.
I would like for you to mention, you or Jay, how simplified we have made, or Jay has made, our vendor application process as well as our sponsorship process. So if either one of you would take just a second and update us on that, how
Sure.
easly that is, or has now become.
The process of the sponsors has really been not changed, other than that we've added to the sponsors to in conjunction with that. This place, the application can be used for both a sponsor to come and do it as a sponsor, i.e. a business like yourself, or we would have a vendor, and then on the same application, you could have a place for the vendor and a food truck if they choose to, in the rules about them. So they can go to the same application, fill it out, it goes to the city, we approve it, the city takes it, and then they process it from there. So that's really the only change with the sponsor application. Or that's with the vendor application, excuse me. The sponsor gives us a range of anywhere from a $150 sponsorship up to a $5,000 sponsorship, which would give us, and we've had those sponsors in here, but this cleaned it up and gave us the different options. So it's just really a cleanup, and it gives us a place, as an online place. I believe Jay has set that up where they can go online and probably.
That has not been set up
We're
yet.
not going to set up, but that may be the process is
Correct.
in the works to do that.
Correct.
We'll discuss that to do that, so.
I'm really excied about it.
And the city can
Make
have.
it easier and
right,
streamlined.
And the city can have a tie-in to that, and we can have the county department here at the city work with it too, because they'll coordinate the payments, because that will make the process of paying them and getting them, the vendors paid for, the vendors paying us, that are gonna pay us for their spots, and also the bands that perform for us to get paid too, so. it
I've
just
discussed how we streamline those payments and how we get them to the appropriate source within the city. There's still a couple of loose ends to tie up
Right.
there, but it'll be all tied up by the next meeting.
Sure.
The other thing that new sponsorship page does is it makes it clear that you can do multiple things. So you can be a sponsor and have a vendor booth and have a food truck if you wanted to.
Sure.
We've got a designated area for food trucks, we've got a designated vendor for sponsor booths, and so all that's going to be much cleaner, much fairer, much easier for everybody to understand, so everything should go much smoother.
Right.
Beautiful work.
Yep.
Thank you, Marty, for trying to step back from it a little bit. And
Well,
Nobody
I'm still
liked it.
bothered, and Jay's helped a lot with the cleaning this up, and last year was the first year, and this year, we're gonna do better and be easier.
Awesome. I'm excited for it. Thank you, Marty. Anything else?
I believe that's it. I don't believe we need to, looking at the funding for the media thing, we'll definitely have to updo our,
Or sponsorships?
sponsorship.
Okay.
But I think we can all work toward that.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Marty.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Jack, tell us about some art walk and
Okay.
any other things you've got up
All
your
right,
sleeve.
so, Art Walk. As of just a few minutes ago, we learned, we had 3 dates, May the 22nd, May the 26th, September the 22nd, and October the 27th. Minutes ago, and I mean actually minutes ago, we found out that graduation is May the 26th from Pickens High School, which is, we went back to the Fridays, and so we need to discuss if we want to leave it that day or go back to the 19th. Now, I got this information from PACA, Angela, a few minutes ago, and I just got another message. She was thinking about moving it back. I wanted to see, she wanted y'all's input. What do y'all think?
When you say move it back, you mean move it to?
Actually move it forward to the 19th. Move it up.
So that would be May 19th?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Earlier in the year.
Yeah, it'd be 1 week earlier.
And
I know-
Saturday, May 13th, just, is our first event for second Saturday, so it's completely. That'd be fine.
May
We can
13th
promote-
is the first,
Right.
second
We can
Saturday.
promote that event with ours,
There you go.
that'd help too.
So, and that's what she's thinking. She's got to go to the PACA board and talk to them about it, but I just wanted to relay that to everybody right now. That is something we just have found, and I mean this sincerely, I've asked a couple of minutes. So, but the other 2 dates look fine. This is what we did last year. We do have, which I'm not going to talk about right now, but we do have some additions to what we're doing, some fun things me and Angela's talked about, and we want to keep it a secret so everybody will come in and see what we're doing. But we have come up with some different ideas for the art walk, and but it looks like the generality of it will be the same. Last Wednesday, me and Angela went on TV with Sherry Martin, and she did a big spiel for the art walk. And so we got to get back out to the media with that date change if that's what happens. But she did a great job with that. I don't know if any of y'all saw that. That was on ETC. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. The other thing that I've talked to, and I've talked to several of y'all, and the only one I didn't talk to was Dave Garner, was about something that a dream, or not really a dream, a project that we thought about doing for the first Saturday Night Live. It would be, or excuse me, the Downtown Live. It would be in front of the opening band, and it would be something called the Moonshine Walk or Race. I talked to a gentleman at the Mule House, the chef, and he said, I asked him, I said, give me some ideas of some fun things you did in Atlanta. Well, this is a race, and it would start in front of the Mule House. You'd have a tray with several drinks on it, and there would be 3 individuals from each restaurant, and by the way, this would be Big Canoe as well. And we'd go through and get all the restaurants, and they would have 3 individuals. And then it wouldn't be a race, it would be a walk, a fast walk, up to the city jail. The city jail, there would be 2 tables there. You'd have to go around one side and then come back around the other side and get 2 more glasses. And by the way, Jason has told us that he would let us use moonshine from his distillery. So it would be with the moonshine. And then you would come back and there would be a female winner and a male winner. And there would be a trophy made, and whoever wins would put this up in the bar of their restaurant. So this is something for discussion. I just wanted to present this to the board and see what y'all thought. And if you want me to continue with this, I'll do this. We were also thinking about maybe selling T-shirts and doing a charity thing for a charity here in town. That's 2 of the things that we also came up with. But anyway, I'd like to hear some input.
Am I correct that this, when we do these Downtown Live events, there's a considerable amount of, I won't call it dead time, but it feels like dead time between the time that the city closes the street and the event actually happens.
Right.
So you're looking for activities that could keep that alive.
Right.
So my first question is, do you hold the moonshine or do they drink the moonshine?
Well, they have it on a platter, and they go up to the end, and they actually, like they're waitresses, and they go around 2
Okay.
tables, and once they get back, so if they spill a glass,
Oh,
then they're
the
out of it. And we got some stipulations
That's a
that we
waste.
talked through, so yeah. But anyway, and then the race comes back, so it's something that's fun, but again, I wanted y'all's input to see what you thought.
So to Amy's point, they're filling some of the time between when the street closes and the band start is a good idea, and I'm sure there's a number of activities, and this could very well be one of them. I think we should continue discussing those ideas and see how they develop.
Okay. I just want to bring it forward to the board and let everybody know what, it was an idea that I talked to the chef at the Mule House, and he said they had a lot of fun in Atlanta with it. It was actually in Gwinnett
Yeah.
County, I think.
Yeah, I think we can iron out the details in
Sure.
committee and bring it
Sure.
back and have a
Yeah.
more substantive discussion about it.
Okay, all right.
Keep going with that, Jack. Good job. Do you have anything to add to that, Mark?
Good question. I like it. I like all the good things. We did the interview when the 2 bands playing while the other one was set up. I mean, possibly.
When we do that?
It's possible, but one question is the funding for Art Walk. There's been some discussion of how
Okay.
who's going to pay for that.
Okay, so last year,
I could decided, or would we bring it
okay,
together?
so last year we got $1,800 or $1,800 from the city, and PACA got 16. PACA is doing 2,000 this year, and they wanted us to match. So that's something we need to talk to the city about, an extra $200. I don't know if they're going to, what the city is going to do, if they still want to do that. But if not, then we'll need to check into what avenues, if we want to do sponsorships or whatever. So,
Okay.
I just didn't know if we had anybody else that was discussing that.
yeah, it was last year the city actually gave us the money for it.
Okay. And just for the record, I would like to, the art walks are Friday nights.
Yes.
That's a Friday night event. And
From
when we
6 to
use
9.
the acronyms packet, it's Pickens Art and Cultural Alliance.
Yes,
That's right.
Okay,
yes.
just for clarification.
Yeah, and there's a board, and I've been to three or four of their board meetings, and They still want to continue with this. They thought this was a great success, and not only that, I've had many of the merchants in downtown want to know when this is going to happen. They're getting ready for it already, so.
Great work on that, Jack. Anything else about Art Walk or filling the voids? We can discuss that as a board later, filling the voids of
Sure,
the downtown live
right.
segments. And update us, if you will, next, Jack, on downtown lights.
Okay, so there's two merchants at the end of North Main Street who want us to put lights on their building, one being Denson Insurance and the other one being Roper Attorney's Office. I have measured those buildings. I've got the measurements. I'm wanting to see if, before I do this, if we can get with Mr. Flint and see if he would like to change the lights from the present lights that's across the bridge to the lights that's on top of the building, so they would be in conjunction, looking like one another, and it also would be less electricity because those don't burn as much lights, electricity as the other lights. But anyway, we haven't met yet, me and Mr. Flint and his wife, Jane, gosh, I can't even think of her name right now, Janice. But anyway, that's in the works, and by the way, both of those merchants are going to pay for those lights like we have done in the past, so that's not going to be any excess money.
It would be great if we could get Mr. Flint
Yes,
on board,
right.
right? At the same time they're putting the lights on.
That's the
Okay,
reason I'm
what
holding
you're
off, yes, ma'am.
saying. Okay,
That's the reason I'm holding off right now to see what we can do, and I haven't had a chance to meet with him yet.
Jack, you've been so wonderful about those lights. Everybody loves them. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Awesome. All right, we already did the streetscapes with Kurt. On to an update about the potential for music on Main Street, Jay.
So if you've been to some other small towns around the south and really around the country, one of the things that makes a lot of these cities' main streets nice is they have some ambient music playing. The closest example is down in Baltimore. So I've done some research, I've talked with a handful of vendors, and what I've found to be what seems the best possible solution is the same solution that they used in Ball Ground. It's a company in Smyrna that makes a package that can mount on the light pole or can mount on a building. It does not require anything other than power. It does not require any audio signal or Wi-Fi or hardwired internet. Everything works over Wi-Fi from a central hub. So we need to look in a little bit more detail about which light post would be the best light post. But what we've mapped out so far is we think we can get appropriate coverage from Main Street with 10 of these units. Those units are $2,000 a piece. The broadcast hub, the transmitter, is an additional $2,000, and then there's another piece of equipment that's about $900 that needs to be purchased to tie everything together. The ongoing cost is about $20 a month for the streaming service that automatically handles all of the licensing to make sure that we are not violating anybody's copyright or anything like that. It pays the fees to ASCAP or BMI, whichever source the music came from. Also filters for any explicit language and makes sure that it's a family-friendly or a public-friendly feed. There are, I think, a couple dozen different channels and genres to choose from. So you can do Christmas music in the wintertime, you could do classical music during Art Walk, you can even patch into the system from the soundboard for Downtown Live and other concert events and have it become a rebroadcast of what's coming off the stage. So the stage could be at one end of the street and the speakers could rebroadcast the music all the way down the street, which means you don't have to have the stage quite as loud, which makes it better for everybody. The total cost, well, let's talk about installation. The vendor says that any competent CityWorks person can install these. It's literally attaching it to the pole with a couple of straps, tightening it up and plugging it in. It's that simple. Jack, you work with the lights. I bet you could do it in half a day.
Give him another job.
At any rate, that $20,000 to $25,000, maybe $26,000 total cost is a pretty significant ask. So what we're going to do instead is ask the private sector, ask downtown merchants, ask the people who are on Main Street first for their contributions. My idea would be that there's basically one speaker in front of a bunch of different businesses. So the speaker that's in front of that business will ask that business to help pay for that speaker. Some businesses have already said they pay for the whole thing. Some people would say, well, let me know the details. And so we're in various stages of discussion with the downtown business owners. There are also a couple of private sources of funding that have expressed interest in helping pay for this. So my hope is that we will get this paid for entirely with the private sector and not require any funds from the city of Jasper.
Beautiful work, Jay. Anybody else have a discussion or anything they want to put input on the music?
No, at the places I've been, it's a great tool. And tying into the concerts, is another great idea to do it, I would think that would be pretty easy to tie that wherever the hub is to the sound system people that are doing it for us. I mean, I'm sure that's not a hard thing, but definitely.
Looking at the geography, it seems that the optimum place for the transmitter is on top of Jack's Pharmacy. So that would mean that
Another job. You can control the music, Jack.
Jack wouldn't have to do anything. The system that controls the music stream can be accessed from anywhere, so I could be in my office, or you could be in your office, or whoever could be here at City Hall and patch into that computer and change the stream if necessary.
And then,
There are a couple other details that we need to sort out, like what time of day the music plays. All of that can be automatically scheduled. So it comes on in the morning, goes off at night, or it plays 24/7. These are details we need to sort out with a couple of people, including the city authorities.
I'll be turned off at certain events too.
Could be turned off for certain events, right. But all of that can be done remotely, can be done remotely from any computer. So managing the system is actually not a major encumbrance on anybody.
And Jay, may I ask if you're spearheading this endeavor, I assume, and would you ask each business owner or their tenant if they even see value in this? Is that something you're willing to take on? And
I've already discussed this with multiple business owners on the street, and everyone is 2 thumbs up.
awesome.
Well, it's just like anywhere that you've been with your music, if you don't go to a place and where there's music being played, it makes you excited, it makes you want to purchase stuff. I mean, you're in a place where you're not thinking about your watch, you're thinking about having fun, and so yes, you're going to experience this and have more money spent or whatever. So the only thing is, Jay, and I wanted to ask you, because when I did the lights, I went up and down the street and I asked everybody for a certain figure, and I would think rather than asking individuals in front of those, if the people decide what we want to put in it to it all. So.
Well, the intent is to ask every single occupant on Main Street.
Yes, sir.
Just to go to every single business, not leave anybody out, and everyone gets to say whether they want to participate, or maybe they want to say, I don't like the idea whatsoever.
Right.
So far, I've not met any resistance, everyone is for it, but that doesn't mean everyone will be for it.
and you've got businesses and you've got owners or buildings.
That's right, the property owners.
So you've got
Multiple.
dealing with
That's right.
all of them, and all the
That's
people.
right. And there's only, I think there's only a handful of property owners that I'm not in contact with in some way.
Right.
But, so we'll ask everyone who has a vested interest in Main Street, business owners and property owners.
Good.
Well, that's terrific, fantastic, Jay. And I would just like the entire public to note that every single person that is up here is a volunteer, and they are spending their own time, their own gas money, their own energy in getting these projects moved forward. Zero compensation, zero pats on the back, zero whatever. So I commend everybody. This is a lot of hours put into some of these things, so this is fantastic. I just want to commend everybody for the work on all of these updates. So, terrific.
And that goes for you as well.
Thanks.
And I can't speak for everybody here. My compensation is seeing downtown thrive and seeing people on the street, spending money with the local vendors, and everyone being happy and having a good time.
So with that, Jay, give us our financial report.
Speaking of money, so I get a report from the city finance office every month. It's basically a ledger. And current state in the bank, we have $2,518.68. We finished 2023 with a balance of $15.33.20. There's been a few transactions, including some sponsorship money for Downtown Live already has come in. And then we've paid a little bit for the Hemlock's monthly maintenance fee, and believe it or not, we've earned a little bit of interest.
How much interest did we earn?
38 cents in February. and
That'll cover your speakers.
We turned 10 cents in January, so interest payment hasn't been calculated for March yet.
Great.
There are a few transfers back and forth between the DDA and City of Jasper. It's just regular business. Lindsay handles that automatically. It's nothing really that we need to be involved in. And when those transfers happen, the amount of those transfers, that's just part of the regular business between the city and the DDA.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jay. Any other discussion from this board? Wonderful. All right. 6:16. Nothing else. We can consider ourselves adjourned until, what's our next date? Help me.
Should be the last Monday.
The last Monday
Last
in
Monday of April.
April. And until then,
Motion to adjourn.
do we need to make a motion?
Yeah.
Let's make a motion. Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Have a second.
Jay and Jack. All in favor? All
Thank you.
adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, welcome.
Now, I can see these on the ears.
Amy Lee.
I'm asking for everything, because I stay away.